to your husband, and I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
Oh, you old fool.
You were seeing this Johnny Bellman regular. It was on account of him that you wanted Jeff to divorce you.
Listen here, you...
Quit that grand dame stuff, sister. You were stepping out on old Jeffrey and...
That's a lie. Jeff and I weren't living together. We had nothing in common. I asked him for a divorce.
Which he wouldn't give you.
All right, which he wouldn't give me. But that didn't make us any more compatible. Didn't need to hire a filthy snooper to know I was seeing Johnny Bellman. I told him that Johnny and I were in love with each other. He knew all about it. There's nothing deceitful about it.
That makes a good story. With Jeffrey out of the way.
It's true. There's no story to it. Do you think I'd kill the man I loved?
If he'd busted you up with your husband and you thought you was going to marry him and then he got engaged to another girl? Yeah, I think you would.
But his engagement to Rosalie March didn't mean a thing.
From the way she keeled over when she saw his body, I think different, sister. Funny. Nice kid like her being sweet on a heel like that.
Don't you call Johnny a heel. He's a fine person.
Hey, why don't you knock before you... Oh, hello, Miss March.
They said you wanted me.
I've been hearing an interesting story, Miss March. Mrs. Warren here says Johnny Bellman was in love with her and not with you.
It doesn't make much difference what anybody says, now that he's dead, does it?
Good point you got there, Miss March. Say, good point.
What's a good point?
What Mrs. Warren says her husband said. Nobody can prove it one way or the other now. Neither way.
I guess that's right. But there's something else nobody can prove.
Yeah?
Nobody can prove I came in here with 2 packing cases on my back. Think that one over, genius. Duncan, what are you doing here?
I just thought you might like to talk to me, Mrs. Warren.
I've nothing to say to you.
Mm-hmm. Suppose, though, that I was to get a flash of memory.
What are you talking about?
Suppose I was to remember that I saw you taking a big box into Mr. Chalmers' office saying you had a present for Rosalie March and wanted to surprise her.
Why, you wouldn't dare.
Look, Miss Warren, I've had tough luck all my life. Here I am getting along in years and no nest egg. Say, no nest egg. I got a right to something, ain't I?
Get out of here before I throw you out.
You and me, we got to get along with each other, the way I look at it.
I'll show you how we're going to get along.
Put down that gun now, Miss Warren. You could have an accident with it.
You just said I could have an accident. And I'm going to have one if you don't clear out of here.
No. You couldn't get away with it.
Oh, yes, I could. I could say that you came here threatening me, trying to blackmail me. And when I refused to stand for it, you got mad.
Yes, you was too smart for Jeffrey Warren, always. I can see that now. You outsmarted him at every turn, didn't you?
Get out of here.
I'd put down that gun if I was you, Miss Warren. I didn't come here to be bluffed. See, I didn't come here to be bluffed. Give it here.
No, you got away from me.
You...
I'm warning you, you won't. Stand back or I'll shoot.
Yeah.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm sound as a dollar. But you're hurt. I say you're hurt. After you firing that gun, there's going to be quite a stir. And I got you right where I want you.
You deliberately tricked me into getting that revolver.
If I was you, I'd make a deal fast, Mrs. Warren, before the folks who heard that shot get here.
You killed Jeff and Johnny Bellman. You did it. You killed them in order to blackmail me. You had to kill Jeff so I'd have money. And then you had to kill Johnny so there'd be nobody to protect me.
I didn't have to kill anybody. But once in my life, I just kind of took advantage of things as they happened. I say, I took advantage.
I hope you'll get this over in a hurry, Craig.
The chips are down this time, Mrs. Warren. This is going to be it. You're all going to be here, and nobody's going to leave till I get the killer.
Did it ever occur to you that it might be 2 killers?
Yeah, it occurred to me, and I threw it away. These deals are too much alike.
Well, for heaven's sake, hurry up and get it finished. There's 3 days' correspondence piled up.
Look, Mr. Chalmers, I'm doing the best I can.
Ain't very good.
What's that, Duncan?
I say your best ain't very good.
No?
No.
Maybe you'll think differently before I'm through, Duncan. I'm going at this thing scientific.
I'll bet that's just wonderful.
If I want any comments, Miss March, I'll ask for them.
Oh, I forgot. The majesty of the law. Pardon me.
Look, you... Oh, forget it. All right. I fixed myself up a list of motives and theories, always disregarding the packing cases.
They're a little on the important side, though, aren't they?
I said, oh, never mind. We've been assuming that Mrs. Warren had a motive for killing Johnny Bellman because he got himself engaged to you and she was in love with him. There wasn't ever any doubt about her having a motive to kill Jeffrey Warren.
I can't believe Mrs. Warren could get those packing cases into my office. It seems...
I said we're disregarding those for a while.
The little packing cases that weren't there.
Now listen, you, that theory about March stands up pretty good. But we're overlooking something.
Yes? What?
How do we know which came first in Bellman's life? Mrs. Warren or Rosalie March?
I don't get it.
Suppose Bellman was engaged to Rosalie before he fell for Mrs. Warren. That'd kind of change the motives around a little, wouldn't it?
Why, what do you mean by that?
I mean that you might have been sore at Bellman because he was giving you the go-by after promising to marry you.
But that's not true.
It could be. How about it, Mrs. Warren?
Johnny didn't care about Rosalie March, really. He was using her to keep Jeffrey from having any grounds for divorce from me. Johnny could always say he was engaged to Rosalie.
That's a lie, and you know it. Johnny was going to marry me in spite of all your tricks, throwing yourself at him, promising him money.
Go right ahead, dear. Your theory isn't so bad, Craig.
Except that there's no truth in it.
You worked here, Miss March. You knew what time Walter Chalmers got into his office every morning. You knew how long you would have. You had access to every department in this building through his keys. And that includes the room where they make the packing cases.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that those bodies weren't brought in here in packing cases. Those men came in here alive, both of them. The packing cases were supposed to make it look as if they'd been sent in as spite work against you and Chalmers. They were supposed to convince me that an outsider did the job and was trying to pin it onto you or Chalmers.
The shipping department's at the other end of the plant. I couldn't possibly lug one of those things that distance, particularly not without being seen. And besides, well, you couldn't possibly give me a motive for killing Jeffrey Warren.
Oh, no? Why not?
Why, don't you see? His death freed the worst rival I had. It made it possible for Betty Warren to marry Johnny.
Guess that'll hold you, Craig.
You keep out of this.
I don't think I will. I don't think I will. What is a packing case made of? Say, what's it made of?
Why, boards, of course. Boards and nails.
Yeah, a packing case is a big thing. But a bunch of little boards, one at a time, they don't amount to much. I say they don't amount to much.
Just what are you driving at, Duncan?
I seen you one day last week walking around the plant with a board in your hand.
Well, I often did that. I don't see that
Not
has...
until last week you didn't. I noticed the same thing. I saw you carrying that board, too. But I still don't see what
You don't
that
see. Every time I see him, he had that board. Only it wasn't the same board. He brought them packing cases in here, board at a time. Little flat boards. There was plenty of places he could hide them, too. Not like a big packing case.
You old fool, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm afraid I do, Mr. Chalmers. You could have had them boards hid in your office. And nails, too. Nothing to keep you from throwing together a packing box right in here.
You know, he was carrying a board around all last week. I thought it was just an absent-minded mannerism.
And that second packing box, put in his office while Craig had the keys and the place was locked. He's got more than one set of keys, of course.
But he couldn't have shot the guy without our hearing it. With soft pine and sharp nails and a towel wrapped around the hammer, working on this thick rug, he might be able to build a packing case. But he couldn't have shot Bellman.
Bellman and Mr. Warren was probably shot at the same time. He hid Bellman's body in the clothes closet, along with the boards for Bellman's packing case. In the excitement of finding one body, nobody was looking for another.
I think I'll check the shipping room and see if Chalmers had a yen for lumber last week.
No. All right, I built the packing cases. I thought I'd be the last person in the world to be suspected, with the bodies apparently delivered to me. You see, the logical thought would be that no murderer would ever send the bodies to himself. He would try to get rid of them.
I guess we got reasons for your killing Warren, all right. But I don't get the angle on Johnny Bellman.
I wanted to confuse the issue. And he was really the perfect victim. His connections with Miss March and you and Duncan. And I didn't feel bad about killing him because he'd have been murdered sometime anyway. He had it coming. For that matter, so did Warren. And now, if you'll excuse me...
Hey, come back here. Come back, or I'll shoot.
He's starting to run.
Halt! All right.
Oh, you killed him.
Yeah. Well, he asked for it, didn't he? Maybe it's better this way. I say, maybe it's better this way.
Oh, you old reprobate. Either you give me back my money or I'll have you arrested for blackmail.
Huh? What's this, anyway?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Say nothing at all. I just, well, I tried a little experiment, and it didn't work. Now, you got no cause to be suspicious of me. I solved the case for you, didn't I? I solved the case, didn't I? Oh, sure. Looks like I lost money by doing it, too.